Hello everyone, this is another customer self-service video. Today we're going to be covering commodity level contract compliance. This is the third video in the contract compliance series. We've so far talked about a contract compliance high level overview and also supplier level contract compliance. And the different types of contract compliance we'll be working through are all set up in the contract terms document within Ariba. Okay, so the four types of contract compliance that can be set up through the terms document are supplier, commodity, catalog, and item level. So the previous video covered supplier level. Today we're going to look at commodity level contract compliance. So that's two-factor contract compliance, where you're covering all products supplied by one particular supplier and also within a specified commodity code. The other types which we'll come on to in future videos will be catalog level and item level. So why use commodity level contract compliance? This would normally be where you have a number of contracts with one supplier to provide specific goods and services. And you want to be able to track the different types of spend per commodity for that one supplier. Okay, we'll now jump into Ariba and show you how this can be set up. So now we're in Ariba. I've already pre-set up a contract workspace for the purpose of this example. Just to know, I have selected yes to allow ad hoc spend. So in this scenario, that will mean that non-catalog requisitions can also accumulate against this contract. I will now go into the Documents tab where the contract terms document should sit. So here's the contract terms document. I'm just going to go ahead and open that document. If you don't have a contract terms document in your contract workspace template, you may need to go to Actions and add the contract terms document through the Actions. So I'm just going to open up the contract terms. So all the overview information here should be pulled in from your contract workspace. So we are now in the contract terms wizard. As you can see, these are the steps where you can populate the attributes for the contract terms or contract compliance file. So I'm now going to select the commodity level contract type, which will allow me to set up the link at supplier and commodity level. As you can see, the supplier is pulled in from the contract workspace, Stratos Labs. Release required will default to yes, which means you will require a purchase order to buy against this contract. I'm also going to select yes here to allow non-catalog items to accumulate against the contract. Okay, now I'm going to jump straight into the pricing terms, which is where I can set up the attributes at a commodity level. As you can see from the definition screen, we have the commodity level pricing terms. So I'll now go ahead and add a line here. So I've given my contract a name, contract compliance to track lab disposables for supplier Stratos Labs. So for the purpose of the demo, I'm just going to search for a commodity code. In our test system, it's based on UNSPSC. So the commodity code I'm after is patient exam and monitoring products. So once I select this, this will also set up the link for any commodity codes at a lower level that sit below the patient exam and monitoring products. But for now, I'm going to select the commodity code. And that's the key piece of information I need to select. So that contract compliance link has now been made and the commodity level pricing terms has been set up. So I'm just going to go on ahead and save this. So now these contract terms have been updated and have a draft status. So I'll now need to just publish the contract to put the contract compliance piece in effect. So let me go and publish the contract terms document and submit that. Just going to view the status of the request. So there's an approval flow for the contract terms to be published and to operationalize the terms I've set up in terms of allowing the purchasing in P2P. Please note the reference for the contract terms document CR1026, so that's the contract request. I've now removed those approvers, and as we can see in the history, the contract C1026 has now been processed. So what I've done is create a standard requisition with two items, one catalog item and one non-catalog item. So if we just go and take a look at the line detail on, first of all, the catalog item. As you can see, the commodity code defined for the catalog item is the one we defined in the contract terms file. for the supplier Stratos Labs, which is the two factors that the compliance has been set up based on. We've now got the link to the contract which we set up previously. We'll do the same for the non-catalog item. Again, same commodity code, same supplier, and now that link to the contract has been set up. Just going to submit that requisition, and I will delete the approver for the sake of the demo. So we now have two releases created against that contract, which becomes the order ID, as you can see here. So I've now just jumped back into the contract management module. I'm just going to locate my contract C1026. Apologies, I should be searching on the ID. And there is my contract. So now any orders will accumulate as releases against this contract C1026. This will update the accumulators based on the orders and the spend against the contract, and will also trigger the necessary notifications for the contract owner, depending on the attributes set up on the in terms of the contract value and the notification triggers. So that was just a quick overview of commodity level contract compliance. In the next couple of videos, we will look into catalog and item level contract compliance, which is a more granular level of contract compliance. Okay, thank you for listening.